All right, I have a rhetorical question for you this morning. So don't raise your hands, okay? Do you have any bad habits you'd like to let go of? I bet most of us do have at least maybe one. Biting our nails, shopping online. Maybe we've got something more destructive like smoking or imbibing in alcohol or drugs. Why don't we just stop? Why don't we just stop? Especially when we know they aren't serving us in our higher way of living. My message today is improving your habits. And we're going to look at what habits are, how they're formed, and how we can change them. Would you be interested in how to change habits? Yeah, we're going to look at that. So it's not typically easy to change habits, is it? Anybody ever tried to change a habit? Is it easy? Easy peasy? No, not really, right? It's like, ooh. And it's because the pattern has become so ingrained in our subconscious that we're not even aware, usually, when we're doing it. That's a true habit when we're not even aware of it. We might be brought into consciousness that we're doing it, but in most cases, we're not aware. We only notice the after effects, usually with feelings of guilt, shame, remorse, and that ever present promise I'll do better tomorrow. I'll get back on my diet. I won't have dessert. I'll go to the gym. So, what are habits? What are habits? Rituals and behaviors that we do automatically, like brushing our teeth, taking a shower. So that frees up our brains to be able to solve problems and adjust to things that are happening in the moment, new things that come about, and figuring out what to wear. Ladies, yes. We all have habits. Thank goodness. I couldn't remember to breathe every time I needed to breathe. Could you? Yeah, we've got habits. And that does free up space for new things to come forward and come to us. When I was doing the research for this, there are basically three categories of habits. The first one, the first group, is that the ones that we just don't even notice anymore. Can you tie your shoes without looking? Can you carry on a conversation while you're tying your shoes? Can you drive a car while you're tying your shoes and carry on a conversation? Probably, right? So that's one of those habits that it's a good habit. We don't notice it, we just do it. The second group is the ones that are good for us, the ones that we really work at. We know we should go to the gym. We work at going to the gym. We try to make a habit of going to the gym, eating well, exercising, and getting good sleep. We know they're good for us. Those are the ones that usually end up in here. I want more of that intention this year. I want to do the things that better serve my body, my mind, my soul. The last group, those are the bad ones. Those are the ones that don't support us. And I don't have to go through those. You know what those are. The author of The Science of Mind, which is the teaching that we teach here, is Ernest Holmes. And he says negative habits are escape routes from life and its problems. That's kind of profound, isn't it? Negative habits are escape routes from life and its problems. Have you ever asked your negative habit, why are you here? What are you allowing me to escape from? Might be a good contemplation question, huh? As I was researching this topic, I came across an interesting study from Duke University, and they have concluded that 40% of what we do is determined not by our decisions, but by our habits. That's almost half of what we do every day is based on habit rather than on decision. Now, I think we ought to find out what percentage of that 40% are the good habits and the bad habits? Might be good to know. Might be good to know. So let's look at cause. Let's look at cause. What causes a habit in the first place? We're not born with them. Little babies don't come in chewing their fingernails and smoking and drinking and shopping online, right? So we aren't born with them. How do we get them? We pick them up along the way, don't we? We pick them up along the way. Psychology today says habits are built through learning and repetition. We learn our habits. We learn our habits. Think about some of your daily habits. Brushing your teeth, taking a shower. When did you learn to do that? And when did that become a habit for you? Probably started a long time ago, right? Anybody remember your mom's instructions on how to brush your teeth? And when you didn't, what happened? It became a habit. The same is true with these negative habits. When did you learn the negative habit? And when did it become repetitious? How many times did you have to repeat it for it to become a habit? Think about moving to a new neighborhood. Anybody ever moved to a new neighborhood? And you get there and you kind of go, okay, I got to find my way around. Where's the grocery? Where's my dry cleaners? Where's my bank? How am I going to get to work? And so we begin testing different routes to get to work. And eventually we land on one. And we start driving that for a few weeks. And then the next thing you know, you get in your car and you just go. You don't have to think about, do I turn right or left? What was that street name? Where's the light? Where's the parking lot again? We just know. We're now officially on autopilot, right? If you're like me and your route takes you by the airport, what I have found is that sometimes when I'm supposed to be going to the airport, go right by it. Because I'm on autopilot because I always go to Van Buren. I miss my turn. That is a subconscious habit. When we study the science of mind, we learn about universal laws and the power of our minds. That's kind of the core teaching of this philosophy that we teach. We learn that universal law maintains our persistent thought patterns as our habits. Ernest Holmes says the law accepts what we excuse me, a little frog this morning. The law accepts what we insist on through our habit of being. And this is true of both good and bad habits. Remember, we talk about the tendency of our thinking dictates the tendency of our life. That's what we're talking about here. So what do we do when we discover that our beliefs and our habit patterns are keeping us from realizing our good, are keeping us separate from the intentions that we've set? What do we do? Well, Ernest has a couple of suggestions. He says we need to practice detachment and discernment. Detachment and discernment. Learn to be detached enough to be the observer of our own behavior. We can't change something that we're not aware of, can we? If we're not aware that we're biting our nails, we can't change that habit. Discernment means perception in the absence of judgment in order to obtain spiritual guidance and understanding. Only when we stop judging ourselves can we become a clear channel through which Spirit can manifest, can give its gifts. Ernest calls it rubbish. We have rubbish in our subconscious through which Spirit is trying to get through, to get to us, to bring us the good. But there's so much that Spirit can't get through. Holmes says, belief is all that stands between you and your freedom. Freedom being our good. Belief. So what are those beliefs? Do you know? So now that we know what habits are, we know how they're formed, how do we change the mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical habits of being that we are currently experiencing that are undesirable to us? You heard of the book Atomic Habits, James Clear. He suggests 3 levels of changing habits. Now, as I was preparing for this, I thought I kind of set us up wrong because we set our intentions, right? That's the last thing. That's the last thing. The first thing he says is to change what we believe. It's what we teach. Change your thinking, right? We start from the inside. We have to change the beliefs that we hold. As Ernest said, the belief is all that stands between us and our freedom. So we have to change that belief in order to move through that habit. The second is to change the process or system we're currently using. And the third level is the outcome or goal that we want to achieve, the intention. Coach Bill Walsh used to say, the score will take care of itself. When we're doing everything right, the end result is ours, yes? But what happens is we strive for the end result, but we don't want to change anything back here. We want to change anything in our system or our process. Was it Einstein that said you can't be doing the same thing in the same consciousness, you get the same results? Well, that's what this is about. The first step is to change our thinking and belief that's blocking our good. So many times we have a conflict in what we think we want and what we believe we're willing to do it, to get it, to achieve it, to experience it. Example from the book. I like this story. Okay, who's going to treat for this? Lee?
Yeah, I got you.
You got me. And so it is. Story from the book. He says, what if you are trying to quit smoking? What do you say when somebody offers you a cigarette? I'm trying to quit smoking. What do you say? No thanks, I'm trying to quit. He says, what if you say, no thanks, I'm not a smoker. I'm not a smoker. Subtle but powerful difference. It's the power of our words, isn't it? What affirmations are we using on a regular basis? This is the process of changing our identity behind the habit, changing our words about it, changing who we be, who we say we are, who we show up as. When I stopped smoking over 40 years ago, I was a child, no. I remember the aha that I had when I realized it wasn't necessary. I had almost quit, but I cheated. And every time I would cheat, they tasted so bad. I was like, why am I doing this? And I finally came to the realization it was my beliefs around all the stuff. The gold lighter, the Whiting and Davis cigarette case, the crystal ashtray, the social time with my fellow smokers. That's what I liked. When I had that aha and changed that belief, done. Today, if someone asked me if I wanted a cigarette, I would just automatically say, no, I don't smoke. Because I don't. It's automatic. It's in my subconscious. It's not something I do. What belief keeps you hooked on your negative habit? It's easier to sleep in than go to the gym. The cake tastes so much better, and I've got cake today, so I can talk about cake. Cake tastes so much better than carrots, right? Who are you with this habit? Who are you without it? What happens in your life when you let go of it? What happens when you let go of it? Who do you become? Now, this process of systems works to create good habits and release bad habits. It works both ways. According to James Clear, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. We can change habits by creating a system that supports the good ones and starves the bad ones. No, I'm not going to ask you that. I am a snacker. I'm not going to ask you if you are. I'm a snacker. I know that I'm a snacker. That's a horrible habit. And what happens when we become snackers? What's our outcome? We gain weight, right? We gain weight. So if that's not the outcome I want, I need to change the process of snacking, right? What system do I have in place now that supports it? Have snacks at home, right? So if that's your thing or whatever your thing is, look at the process you have in place. Am I still purchasing snacks and keeping them in the cupboard? Does watching TV trigger it? Do I skip meals so I get so hungry that fast food is the fastest food I can get? Not too much anymore. I've kind of broken that one. What actions can we take to make changes in our current system to release our habits? What's the system you've got for whatever your habit is that you're thinking about releasing? What supports it in your life? What process or systems support that? We know that we focus on what it is we choose rather than what we don't want, right? It's part of our teaching. So this is the same thing. Getting rid of a habit is not stopping the habit as much as it is changing the process and turning towards and focusing our energy on what it is we want instead. That's the way we change. So the new science of atomic habits supports the old science of the science of mind. And Socrates, I found the Socrates quote this week too that says the same thing. Creating new habits and helping ourselves help ourselves. Helping ourselves help ourselves is a sign of spiritual maturity. It's a message we're sending out to the universe saying, I'm ready. I've changed all my systems. I'm doing the work. I'm treating and moving my feet. And what does the universe say? Yes. And we get the support that we need to keep going. We have to recognize any self-sabotaging habits we have, like buying snacks and keeping them in the cupboard, right? We have the information. Did I tell you anything new today? Not really. Did I shine a light on it? We've got the information. We know what to do. We know that the first day that we choose something different than that habit we've always been doing, it's going to be uncomfortable because we're suddenly very present to what is. We're very aware of what we're feeling. We're very aware of what did Ernest say? No, not that one. Negative habits are escape routes from life and its problems. We get out of that habit, we're in the problem. Ouch. I don't want to do that. Is it time, though, to maybe say, I'll deal with that temporary discomfort to live the life I'm dreaming about? If you would like more information on these principles and to study this work further, we have our Mindful Monday newsletter that comes out on Monday mornings. Reverend Lee and I prepare those, and it gives you a recap of today's talk and the principles that were practiced this week. You can sign up on QR code, send me an email, or in the lobby. We'll get you on that list. Number 1 for your spiritual practice this week is observe yourself. Observe yourself. Practice the art of detachment and self-observance. And notice your behaviors and your habits. Notice what they are. Take one day and just pay attention to everything that you're doing habitually. From how you turn off the alarm to how you brush your teeth, take a shower, get in your car, drive to work, whatever those habits are, pay attention. And notice if those are serving you. Second, determine which ones do and do not support your dream life. What belief is keeping this habit in place? What system or process needs to change to support the new behavior? And what's your intention? What's the goal? What's the outcome that you really desire? And does everything you're doing support that? If it doesn't, make the changes you need to. Releasing habits that don't serve you is some of the most rewarding spiritual work that you'll ever do. If you've ever quit something and stuck with it, you know that feeling. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. If you tried and failed, please don't stop. Use these practices and try again. Lee and I are here for spiritual guidance, Daniel. If we can help you in any way on your path, your journey, we're happy to do so. To help you discover the belief, identify the habits and some of the processes perhaps that are supporting them, or perhaps that could help you change them. Right? So, what are you working on? What have you intended? What is your goal? And what are you changing in your process, your system of living to help this along? So it is. And it is your turn this morning to ask questions, comments, complaints. Anyone?
I can say something. I just want to say that this was a great reminder and nice call to action. So thanks for bringing it up.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It's my job. Call to action. Anybody else?
I agree with that, Lori. It's a good reminder. I'm practicing a couple of new affirmations in my head right now for a couple of bad habits.
Well, and that's the thing. What do we do with that? Usually it's, oh, I'm a horrible snacker. Oh, I'm a this, I'm a that, I do this. And we're affirming the negative rather than affirming our good. So watch that. Watch your words this week.
It is a great reminder. And my when I was sitting here contemplating on that, it's the uncomfortableness of where you go with all of that, and just sit in peace for the positive outcome. And that's the reminder for me: is gotta go through the rough to get to the good, kind of thing. Through the or uncomfortableness, I guess.
Yeah, I downplayed that a little bit. It's the uncomfortable, and it is uncomfortable because we're used to being in that autopilot, running on our subconscious, And that's easy. And it's just uncomfortable. But it's uncomfortable in the way of growing pains. Maybe look at it that way. I'm ready to go through some growing pains. Anyone else? All right. Thank you all. Thank you for your comments. Well, I have a little prayer process for us this morning. It's a little early for Ernest's birthday. His birthday is actually the 21st, but we're celebrating early. And I've got a little reading from him. It's actually a prayer from him from the Science of Mind. So I'm going to invite you to just close your eyes and take a breath. Let that go. And as you do that, bring into your mind this habit of being that you would like to release. As you do so, hold it gently in your mind with love. Because up until now, it has served you. I invite you to suspend any judgment or negative thoughts about it. Just hold it lightly as I read from Ernest. The spirit within me, as me, does not long for anything. It is free, safe, and satisfied. There is no sense of insecurity. I am not seeking to avoid anything. I am conscious of my ability to meet every situation. There is neither depression nor discouragement in my mental outlook on life. I do not look to anything outside myself to give me pleasure, comfort, or certainty. I do not long for anything, and I am not afraid of anything. I am conscious of my unity with God, of my oneness with Spirit. I now see this habit for exactly what it is, an illusion, which seeks to force me to believe that there is some power outside myself which can give me either pleasure or pain. I am forever free from this thought and from its effects, forever free from the mistaken belief that it was ever a thing of itself. I see it as forever separated from my real self, forever divorced from my imagination, thought, and conviction. In this moment, envision and embrace your true self, your new self, living intentionally and free of this habit. Forever release it and let it go. And I am so grateful this morning for this beautiful prayer, for our ability to release any habits that no longer serve us, to allow them to dissolve back into the native nothingness from whence they came, as we turn towards and focus on that which we seek, that which we desire, that which Spirit has placed on our heart as ours to experience. So I invite you to take another breath. And as you do, release your mind from any beliefs that you're in any way in need of this habit. In this moment, we let it go. It is done, and we are free. And so it is.